He said he went first. Did you hit it good? That's fun. It really made me happy about it. Call to order, Rincon City Council meeting, December 8th, 2025. Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Scott.
Here.
Councilmember Milner.
Present.
Councilmember Underwood. Here. Mayor Exley.
Here.
Councilmember Blackwell.
Here.
Councilmember Taylor. Councilmember Riley. Here.
Got Mr. David Reiner with Maranatha Family Church tonight, giving the invocation, and if you guys will remain standing for the pledge.
Heavenly Father, we're so thankful to be here tonight. We're thankful for our city. We're thankful for those that you've raised up to help lead us. And we ask you for guidance. We ask you for patience with us. We ask you to bless us in this time together tonight. We thank you again for all that you do in Christ's name. Amen.
Guys, the motion's in order to approve tonight's agenda.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Scott. I got a second by Ms. Riley. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passed. And then we have a motion in order to approve the minutes of the November 24th, 2025.
I haven't changed.
Okay?
The hero of the month, his first name was Anthony, not Andrew.
And I had one grammatical error, and I passed it on to Lucia, so she has that.
Make a motion to approve with the changes indicated.
Second with the changes.
Got a motion by Ms. Riley. I got a second by Mr. Blackwell. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Public comments shall be on tonight's events on the agenda. If you'd like to get on the agenda, you can go to City Hall or go online. It's there. You can print that off and get on the agenda. And if we'll move into new business. New business item number 1, Chris Marsengale with Finley Horn request to appear before council.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. Appreciate you including us on the agenda this evening. Just wanted to give you some updates on some of the work that we're doing for you all. At the request of the city manager's office, and also talk a little bit about the city's involvement with the core MPO, what that needs to look like in the future to increase opportunities for funding for some projects. So first of all, I wanted to update you on the State Route 21 speed study results. That study is complete and GDOT has reviewed it. We are collecting some additional information in cooperation with the city manager's office and with PD that's required as part of the signal permit. Sorry, the speed change permit. So the results of the study were the speed reduction from 45 to 35 in the south end of the city. So essentially from the city limit line up to where the speed limit is currently 35. That 45 mile per hour zone from the city limit line to the current 35 mile per hour zone will be reduced to 35 miles per hour. However, the north end, which is on the north end of the existing 35 mile per hour limit, which is just north of 4th Street. The study results did not indicate that a speed reduction from 45 to 35 was warranted. And there's a number of things that go into that. We look at prevailing speeds along the corridor. We look at the type of development along the corridor, numbers of driveways, number of intersecting streets, and also the typical section of the roadway, so what the shoulders look like, as well as the crash frequency. There's not a high crash frequency on the north end of the city. There was in the section on the south end of the city compared to statewide averages. So the recommendation and what GDOT has accepted is that the 45 mile per hour speed limit north of the city will remain as it is today, and we can continue to monitor that as development changes in the area.
Chris, I have a question. That's on the other side of the viaduct, right?
I believe it is, yes.
Okay.
little more undeveloped, a little more rural
Yeah.
in that area still. So that's the State Route 21 speed study. I also want to give you an update on the work that we're doing for you all on Fort Howard Road. Again, we've completed the speed study for Fort Howard Road, and the reduction to 35 miles per hour for the whole length of Fort Howard Road is warranted.
Can you speak up just a little bit? I think they might be struggling to hear you
Sure.
just a little bit in the back.
I'll lean in a bit.
Thank you.
I don't usually have that problem. So I'll speak louder to begin with, at least. So the speed study for Fort Howard Road is complete. And GDOT has reviewed that study as well, and they're willing to accept the reduction in speed to 35 miles per hour for the entire length of Fort Howard Road. There again, yes. From State Route 21.
That's what it should be.
21 all the way to the round. Okay.
So there again, we prepared the permit package for submittal to Georgia DOT, and we're working with the city manager's office to collect some of the radar certificates, radio operator's license, those kinds of things that go into the package to complete that speed change. Also for Fort Howard Road, we have completed the preliminary plans for the crosswalks, and those have been submitted to the city manager's office. He's completed a review and has forwarded those to public safety for their review. So we're on track to get those plans out to bid after the first of the year, with the intention of going to construction sometime in the spring to get those new crosswalks in and make some improvements for pedestrian safety. The last thing that I wanted to talk with you a little bit about tonight is the membership in, if you will, with the core NPO, and what that entails from a project programming and ultimately funding perspective. All of the federal funds that are granted typically through GDOT to local municipalities, most of those now come through core NPO for special programs. And that's something the city should be interested in, is pursuing some of those grants. There was most recently a call for projects in October, for projects to be funded through specific funding avenues. Some of the requirements, though, on those grant programs prevented us as a city from being able to submit for consideration under those grants. The biggest being the fact that the city's projects are not yet in the financially constrained the TIP. So there's two plans that the core NPO maintains. One is their MTP, which is their long-range plan.
Can you tell them what MTP?
I can. It's the Metropolitan Transportation Plan. And the current version, which was recently updated, is called Moving Forward Together 2050. So this is a long-range plan that encompasses all of the projects that the core NPO intends to deliver within that long-range timeframe. There is a shorter range plan called the Transportation Improvement Program, or TIP. That is a 3-year look. It's fiscal year 2024 to fiscal year 2027 currently. So projects that are typically eligible to be submitted and considered for these federal funding grants are projects that are already in the constrained plan. And that's what was demonstrated in this last call for projects. Currently, the city doesn't have any projects that are specifically the city's in that plan. And that's something that we want to cure over the next few months prior to the next call for projects that we anticipate in March. There is a list of projects that have been identified as needs, non-motorized projects primarily in the current list, that we would need to workshop and ultimately develop descriptions for and cost estimates such that we could first get them into the long-range plan and then ultimately into
How was the list developed?
How was the list developed? We worked with the city manager's office, and just knowing some of the pedestrian concerns
Okay.
in the city.
Okay, and can we see that list?
See if I have that handy. I don't know that I do.
If not now,
You can
then
go.
Absolutely.
maybe send it later.
I can, yes. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't bring the list with me. I had the list of projects that were submitted for applications, but I didn't bring.
Too.
So in addition to the requirement for the projects to be in the short-range plan for these funding sources, the city also, in order to do roadway type projects, has to be LAP certified. So that's local administered projects certification, and the city is in the process now of gaining that certification, but that would be a requirement of funding that's coming through the core NPO from GDOT,
That's
essentially.
gonna take about a year.
Takes about a year to complete. It's recommended that there's multiple city staff members engaged in that, so that if someone were to leave, that you don't lose that certification. But I understand that the city is working on that certification. Another requirement, and I think the city is working on this as well, is to make sure that the procurement process is aligned with the federal acquisition process. And I think that's in the works as well.
We got a procurement policy. I think we're working on that, right, Dawson?
Yes, that is coming to council on the 22nd.
Okay. So,
So that's all I have prepared, short of bringing the list with me, and I apologize for that. Are there any other questions?
Anybody have anything?
I don't think so.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for getting this stuff done.
Absolutely.
I guess there's no. New business item number 2, Pat McKelvin requested physical health.
yeah, and James McKelvin doing,
James McKelvin. A few weeks ago, we were presented with a plat of land showing Hardy Road and all the individuals that owned it. And they were asking us to sign for an approval of that road possibly being paved. And of course, first of all, I'd like to thank you for even considering that. But then we had some questions about that, in that this is a primary residence of homeowners, and was concerned that y'all might be considering it being I guess, a primary access to the property that the city belongs.
So I may be misinformed. We came to you.
Actually, you didn't.
Yes,
Okay.
that's one of my projects, request on project Hardy Road, to be, paved. It's a road that we struggled with for years. And, we just didn't have, to look at that project since they had a lot of the work completed already. And, I know they're concerned. But no, that's one of the dirt bids that they have.
Though, that's an exhibit, that's not planned. So the exhibit is, I talked to Mr. Levi and Doug Morgan with DMC. He did the exhibit to gauge your participation, if you want to participate in it. Because if we didn't have 100% participation, we needed a gauge to say, okay, EMC, we want you to design this. Before we spend that money, we want to make sure y'all are on board with it. But I can sit right here and tell you now, that will not be the main entrance or exit into that 85 acres per rec park. That will be off of 21. Yeah.
An emergency exit or entrance to
It would be
would be
It would
fine.
be an emergency exit, if anything. I mean, that hasn't even been discussed, so.
Really?
Yes, ma'am, something like that, but nothing as a main entrance.
That's not my only concern. It's all I'm-
Where they had that. And so that, off the, but the engineer anticipated meeting out there sometime between 9 and Friday. It's the date that he called back to try to identify some of the problems that we have identified. One there is not necessary that because the city owns a spot in there further up the road. Right. We want to utilize as much of that as possible.
So I have a couple thoughts. If we take ownership of Hardy Road, and I'm under the understanding that it needs to be repaved. Paved and repaired. That would be a significant cost to the city, so that's not a budget for this year, that's peaceful. It could come under T-Splosh, to understand. It's not specifically called out for this coming year. But my only concern is whatever we do and accepting that road, we can't tie future council hands and give them definitives, it will or will not be used in this way. 100%, am I wrong in that?
I think the plan all along has been for the east-west corridor, to access it. Now, like I said, I'm not saying there won't be an emergency exit. If you get there and you're having a tournament or something and it's packed, we might have to open both sides to let them out. That can happen. So that just makes no sense to drive in the party to access it.
Is there a reason for us to get into the property?
The east-west corridor plan goes through the triangular piece that's still owned by Green, but that is there.
But I want to clarify, the east-west corridor really wouldn't have anything to do with this.
Access.
Not.
No, ma'am, there won't be trucks going down Hardy Road.
No, and I think we would have to go like weight limit.
It would be built to a residential state.
To be built a certain spec.
Yeah.
For you to allow trucks. Right. Certain.
Be transparent and the fact that it's not just.
We already have.
Potentially.
Infrastructure. Yeah, we already have. Yeah, I think it's really wrong. The city, it's on that road. And based on, only thing we're concerned about is making resident traffic. Building that.
It would be a residential.
Thing on actual weight load.
It absolutely would be, and I agree with that, Levi. What I want them to fully understand is that's an 85-acre park that we're talking about developing. That could potentially have a very large volume in the future, down the road, but it does impact you. In that if we open it up as an overflow, it's not one or two cars. It is a large amount of cars that could potentially come out of there at one time. They need to be aware of that. We need to be transparent.
It would be something from across the track here. Picket fence. Picket fence has.
An emergency access is not the same as overflow.
It would be gated. The exit. The emergency.
You have an event with 25,000 people.
It won't be an everyday.
It's going to be opened.
I would have it gated and opened as needed by the rec park. You might not need it. I mean, you got to look at what's your traffic cycle on 21, and you won't know that until you're. And I'll give you an example. Prime example. Pooler. We have one way in, one way out to our rec complex. And at the end of a football game on Friday nights, they used to have to send still do, the police officer up there to run the traffic signal to get people out because there's no other way. If we had that, we could open the gate and let people go out in two different directions. It would make life a lot easier. But that's an example, and that's what's in my mind. So keep it gated, and then when you need it, you open it up.
And it never connects to the corridor, so you don't have to worry about truck traffic and things like that.
But baseball games.
If it's a park, and I understand it, you don't really know that's what it's going to be. But if you're paving the road and you come in and you put parking spaces all the way down the road, so you can come in and park.
Yeah.
And
Oh, it will be.
You would still show that road, from.
But there's never been any conversation about having parking.
I agree with Randy. I think that being transparent right now, you need to know that if it's a huge event there, you can have cars. Yeah.
But the good thing about it being baseball, softball is everybody's not leaving at the same time.
That's right.
See, so that it's not going to be don't forget. That's a good thing.
I have two questions. One, this is or is not part of the original east-west corridor.
No, well, the access to the rec park will be part of the easement.
Okay.
Because that's coming off of Highway 21.
Second, water lines, where this road is, have we identified any of that? I know we haven't.
In the approximate location. But before we released him doing the engineering work on that, we wanted to gauge the neighborhood, the neighbors, and see if they want it. Because if they tell us, we don't want this road paved, we're not sitting here telling y'all, hey, we want to go pave the road. But if something, I mean, the road's in bad shape, washed out, but I mean.
If for some reason, just looking for this may be way too early to add, but if the water lines do go down the dirt road and that's the part that's going to be covered, does that make a difference?
There's, like Mr. Levi said, once you get past the front, we have city property on the right that you could shift and go.
Okay.
That's what Doug and I have been talking about. If it comes to fruition, guys, this might not come to fruition. You have a couple of people say, no, we don't want it. And if that's the case, then, we'll help y'all anyway to keep the bumps and all that. But, we're not, I don't want y'all to think we're sitting here pressuring y'all to come pave y'all's road because.
I understand. And I thank y'all for even considering this.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, new business item number 3, vote to accept the deed of dedication for Gavin Way and Hayden Place, including stormwater drainage and sanitary sewer facilities located in the rights of way for Sherwood Place subdivision.
Yes, sir. For some reason, this ball was dropped on this. These roads and the infrastructure was never dedicated to the city. An inspection has been done on this, and I ask that you accept this, please.
Any question? No, everybody good? Make a motion.
I'll second.
Got a motion by Ms. Underwood, I got a second by Ms. Riley, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. New business item number 4, vote to accept deed of dedication for Smithfield Drive, Cottonwood Circle, Smithfield Circle, and Don Circle.
Okay,
I'm Chris Murphy from Cross Murphy Law on behalf of Rincon Roads LLC. I'm here for any questions.
Okay. I'll let him talk if y'all have any questions, but I'll explain this. For some reason, unbeknownst to us, this is the road right past the rec park on Lexington. Smithfield with the townhomes, little townhomes on there. The front portion of the road, when you turn off Lexington, was private. When you got to the rear, it was public. So we had a piece sitting in there that was private road. Petitioners come to us, ask us to accept it. We sent EOM out there to do the inspections, and there were some failures in the road. They have repaired those. My recommendation would be to accept the road as it is now with the improvements, because technically there was no way to get to the public access and property in the back besides going over the private.
That was a humongous pothole in all that road.
It is.
It's just
It's how all things.
So y'all,
It's
this
different.
is right behind.
But I did come to Robbie about this. I had citizens who reached out to me. They were definitely very concerned about the fact that the back part of their road was already owned by us and cut off by some privately owned property.
Yeah, something I've been, everything on for like 2 years.
Crazy how it's private than the public.
No, but
The backside not through.
They can access to that. We have a gate at the back of, Cumber that empties out onto that. And so again, that's another overflow for that back parking lot.
Accepting.
Got a motion by Mr. Riley.
Second.
Got a second by Mr. Blackwell. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, we got a second meeting, FY 2026 City of Rincon budget. Robert?
Yes, sir. We had the first reading on this at the last council meeting. Ms. Villafana was up here and doing the presentation. Nothing's changed. I asked that you approve this.
Any questions? Motion's in order. Got a motion by Ms. Underwood. I got a second by Mr. Scott. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion passed. All right, new business item number 6. Consideration to approve a resolution to exchange real property with Habitat for Humanity of Effingham County, Inc. The properties proposed to be exchanged are as follows: 0.6838 acre parcel owned by Habitat for Humanity of Effingham County, Inc., being parcel ID R2060062A00 and .462 acre parcel owned by the city of Rincon, being parcel ID R206-7A.
Road question. I mean, we've talked about this. We're ready.
Okay, I do have one. We just
We're ready to get in and out, and we haven't started.
the, on the resolution piece,
Yes, sir.
will we read that before we vote? Or will we have to add to that?
What you've read is substantially similar to the case caption
Of that.
resolution,
Okay,
so
so
we're satisfied there.
Okay.
I would just ask the clerk, please, to include in the minutes the resolution with the appraisals as an Exhibit A.
Okay, and those appraisals are amounts?
And studies of the characteristics of the properties. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay.
And I'll just say for the record, the parcels are of substantially similar value. And moreover, there are unique characteristics to the habitat property, such as a greater size and other things other folks could point out for the record as to why they're of equal value.
Okay, perfect.
Did we get a copy of this resolution?
Yes.
Yeah, it'll all be done.
She's got them right there. She'll make you a copy. Can you pick them up tomorrow, Stephen?
Sure, we can make it work.
All right, we have a question.
It's not for y'all, but it's for the city manager. I drove by the city's property today to look at, looks like we did do some cleanup there.
You did a lot.
But the water tower cap that's going to the raceway up in Graham County is still there. Are they?
Some of the,
Yeah, we still have a lot there. That's easy.
That's on, I didn't want to have to have y'all move all that if it was on your property in the future. That was our stuff.
everything off that lot has been removed. The concrete stuff has been dug up.
Make a motion to approve adding the appraisals as Exhibit A.
Yes, ma'am. Resolution adding Exhibit 7.
Got a motion by Mr. Riley, I got a second by Mr. Scott. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Great.
Thank you.
City Hall tomorrow, she'll get you a copy of it.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
Anybody up here, do you guys have anything that y'all want to add? I wanted to add. I thought, even in the rain, that Christmas tree light, very well. It was, it worked out good. And I think everybody that showed up was happy. I didn't know that it was gonna take place, but it ended up really nice.
That's good.
Had a lot of people reach out, talk about how good. As a matter of fact, I got a text yesterday. Sergeant Waters rode by there yesterday and brought his kids up, and he said that he was just thoroughly impressed with what the city has done to create, a nice place for the residents, kids. So good to hear from him. But that's all I got. And then just to remind everybody that the market starts up.
It's coming Friday.
Yeah, Friday. Yep. And last thing, if you notice that the lights are blinking on the Christmas tree, Ms. Riley has the push button for that, and she realized yesterday, that it works driving down the road. She was clicking it on and off driving down 21. So that, yeah. So that.
I talked to city manager, Mr. Bird, about this, but actually it's a lane, but it's called Long Street on Q Public. But it runs along the railroad tracks, and it's actually a shortcut to get from over there at Wiley's and all to get back over to those other streets back over on my side of Rincon, which also will get you back over to the red light because so many people don't make crossing.
And it brings you out at the railroad crossing.
But I looked it up on Q Public and we were gonna check, but it's called Long Street and it looks like on Q Public it's city property. But I would like to see if we can't look at that and see about getting that paved. It's been, Yeah,
Yeah.
and just because Manor House also uses it to funnel their traffic through for their pickups every week, and they're doing anywhere between 375 and 450 families a week that are food insecure. They're going through there. And Beth Helmy, who's also on she's county commissioner, she called me because she picks up for elderly and delivers to them. So I've had 3 or 4 people reach out to me, but I feel like if that is in fact our that we can go ahead and see about getting that paid, and it's
I'm gonna get the jobs in the morning.
okay.
I know the last time we looked at that, it was before the CSX easement. That had to be there. Shame for that.
Well, I'm just looking at Q Public on it, so that might be
And we can't pay it, we can grade it again.
right. And I know that we've been in there, I've seen them in there grading it to fix it. So
We'll look at it in
and the other thing is I'd like to discuss Rita, but Bubba said we might need to do that in executive session.
Sorry, there is a executive session.
Yes.
Any other council members have anything to add? No? All right. Business number 8, executive session to discuss personal opinion litigation, attorney-client privilege, and real estate. Second. Got a motion by Mr. Scott. I got a second by Ms. Underwood. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
No, I said.